First of all, we'll start with the signature of the first of today's agreements. Wonderful. This is a momentous moment. Thank you very much. A little clap might work, be nice.
We are in the implementing phase, and we are working hard to sign other guarantee agreements. We hope to have all of them for the operational board, and at least 10 to 12 to sign after the operational board immediately. There are many difficulties because this is a new exercise that we are doing, but we are fully committed to implement it on time because we need to be ready for the next MFF. So Nazira is the first guarantee agreement, and it's really now with the technical agreement and technical assistance agreement will now allow the FMO to start applying the guarantee. So we are really going into the live phase. So training of the business people and helping local banks in countries like Jordan, and you will sign the first implementing agreement later, to reach out to the new customer groups. And again, I think this is a momentum we should all celebrate. It's the result of the hard work and a lot of determination. And it's a joint work of DG NEAR and DG DEFCO, breaking silos and working with IFIs for the benefits for underserved. So thank you very much for joining. And if you have any questions, we are more than happy to answer. Thank you.
Good afternoon. First of all, we're honored to be here and want to thank everybody who's been involved in making this possible. It is really a great moment for all of us, and a moment to celebrate and to stand still by. As mentioned, we're very proud to be signing the technical assistance as well as the first guarantee agreement on the ground with Tamilkom, our Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and of course the European Commission. As a financial institution and FMO, we have certain risk profiles, and this guarantee really enables us to reach out to even more riskier or vulnerable segments of the populations, such as women, youth, and migrants. Today, the facility that we will be signing is to reach out to refugee entrepreneurs in Jordan through Tamilkom. And in short, this is truly a moment to celebrate. And here, all of us together have put in place an instrument and a tool to really, truly reduce inequalities for women, for youth, and for migrants. Thank you very much for making this possible.
That concludes the signing ceremony, and we're now on to the second of our today's signing ceremonies. And we're very delighted to have both the FMO signing alongside their Jordanian partner, Tamilkom. So please come to the table, pens ready. And after the signing ceremony, there will be some short statements made by both partners. Ms. Ortiz-de Haas, would you like to come and make a short statement? Thanks.
Well, thank you very much. And in this case, it's a very big thank you again to everybody who's enabled FMO to put forward a guarantee facility. So thank you to the European Commission, Ministry of Finance, and everyone involved. And in this instance, I would especially like to take the moment to talk a little bit about Tamilkom. This will be the first microfinance institution through which we can deploy the guarantee. So it is happening on the ground. Together with the team, we've been working for quite some months together with Ali and his whole team in Jordan, in the institution, setting up the platforms to also measure how these funds will be deployed. We like working with Tamilcom because they really reach out to entrepreneurs and provide financing and aim to provide financing on equal terms to Jordanians as well as Syrians. Thank you very much.
Dear partners, FMO, the European Commission, and guests, it's a pleasure to be here at the EDD to conclude another milestone which is for you and for us, Jordan Microfinance Company, a pioneering microfinance institution that has served over 700,000 clients for the last 20 years. What we have here today through this guarantee agreement is a template for change that can be replicated, localized for refugee empowerment or the like, similar situations, in different regions. Why? Why is that? It's because this solution simultaneously alleviates the concerns of 1, the host communities, 2, lenders like us, 3, refugees alike, by promoting a refugee financial independence, and as such, turning them into productive members of host communities in which he or she lives in. The agreement with FMO, who were the only institution, actually, that had a complete solution, allows Tamilcom to allocate its internal resources to empower this segment. We're looking for solutions here that we can scale up. We're not looking for a one-time initiative or, for a lack of a better word, photo ops. 2, we provide access to responsible finance, which means we're not looking for over-indebting our clients, while also addressing the perceived risks, such as flight risk, resettlement risks, which this guarantee does, of refugee lenders. Syrians, alike like Jordanians, can receive up to USD $10,000. The third, let's say the third objective of this agreement to Tamilcom which is very crucial in host communities, is that there's no differentiation between a Syrian and a Jordanian. They will both have the same terms. They will both be treated alike. They will be both subjected to the same terms and condition. Why is that? Again, because the idea or the objective of this, at the end of the day, is not the guarantee. It's we want to turn these individuals into productive members of the community and the society they live in. So I would like to thank you, FMO. Our mutual perseverance and our mutual belief in doing our humble part to solve the issues facing our communities today is paying off. We look forward to working with you on this and on other initiatives, actually. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much to all speakers and for their vision and input to this important ceremony, or ceremonies indeed. I would now like to invite Ms. Katerina Matanova, who's going to give us a good overview of where we stand on the EIP in relation to the report, which has been circulated, I believe. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thanks. Congratulations on the signatures, and thank you very much for the inspiring, actually great proposal, and that we hope will be emulated. It befalls to me the riveting task of presenting to you the numbers of the external investment plan. And if you want to read more, it's in this brochure. The short summary is that the target we set for ourselves of leveraging 44 billion euros by the end of the external investment plan, we are well on track for. And we have actually so far been able to sign commit projects in amounts that should actually be very realistically leveraged to about 37 billion euros in a combination of grants and blending, grants that we work with through blending and the guarantee. So first we had allocated by now the full 1.54 billion euros of the EFSD guarantee in 28 guarantees. We haven't signed a lot of them. We signed one with Nasira, but we are in the process of negotiating the guarantee agreements, but we have committed and allocated the 28 guarantees. And there is an expected leverage up to 17.5 billion on the guarantees, and they cover both European neighborhood and sub-Saharan Africa. In addition to that, through blending, we have allocated 1.45 billion in funding of 51 blending projects in Africa, in sub-Saharan Africa, with the expected leverage of these of 10 billion euros. And in the neighborhood where the leverage is considerably higher, we have allocated 753 million for 43 projects, expecting to leverage both in the south and eastern neighborhood 9.5 billion. So this is the total I mentioned at the beginning of 37 billion, and 44 is the overall target. So hopefully, if the promised and the assumptions that we work on, that the leverage that our partners promised to us will be realized, we are well on track to reach the 44 billion. And we very much hope to see first results. And it's actually encouraging to hear you describe your project, and hope we will have many more stories like that to share with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for those clear and precise words on where we stand on the EIP. Now is the moment for some question and answers. I think there's a very short period of time, so we will see how much we can manage within the time slot we have. But perhaps our guests can then join us back at the table in order to take those questions and answers. We'll just set it up quickly so that we've got enough seats to sit on. But prepare your questions and answers, and we've got a slot in order to take them.
Okay, my name is Dido Mulumba from PAD Business Network, PAD for people of African descent, personnes d'ascendance africaine. So my first question is to know if you know about the decade, la décennie des personnes d'ascendance africaine, which started in 2015, will end in 2024 from the United Nations. Mm-hmm. So we are inside the decade. It will be launched in Belgium this month, the 25th. So do you know the decades for PAD? So we are inside the decade working to help our population. We want to know how to get in touch with you, because we are working with our small resources. We don't know how to get in touch with you to be helping our population, because the decade will end in 2024, and we do not have enough resources, and we want to know how to get in touch with you.
Thank you very much for your question. The way to approach us is to actually reach out within your countries to either microfinance or financial institutions, banks, that are working, in this case, with either FMO or other development finance institutions. Where the technical assistance part becomes very relevant is that in some instances, these financial institutions don't know how to reach out. So this is where we're helping them also to further deploy these resources. But in some, do reach out to either microfinance or private financial institutions. No, in your countries.
Okay, perhaps we can take a second question. That was, yes, please go ahead, Vince. Yeah.
Hi, Vince Chadwick from DevEx. I had a question about the 1 million in technical assistance. If you could say a bit more about what exactly you intend to do with that. And I'm looking at the report that's been handed out, and we're talking about leveraging 44 billion, but 2 years ago we were talking about leveraging 88 billion with member states' involvement. And with the private sector, and we don't seem to be talking about that much anymore. So I'd like to get a member state perspective on what the situation is there. And the criticism in some circles of this initiative is that it's actually, or it's not a criticism, it's that we don't know actually how it's going to work, and yet it's being significantly beefed up in the next MFF, and I understand there's budgetary date requirements and things like that as well. But I just would like a member state take on that, I suppose.
Thank you for the question. in this instance, I must say I am not part of the government who is negotiating that. It's much more from an implementing organization. What I can talk about is about the leverage and use the example of Nazira. So what we have said is that we will be using technical assistance to train either our financial institutions, but also the end users. Often these are forgotten, and questions on how to reach either out to banks or get the financial training to apply finance and use the finance in a productive way for their businesses is often forgotten. So that for us is the purpose of the technical assistance. As far as the leverage is concerned, you indeed have a number, so 44, 88. The guarantee here, for example, in case, it is up to 500 million, and depending on how we apply the guarantee, it can be up to 1 billion. So this is the function of the instrument in itself, that depending on how you use it, you can really get the leverage. It's influenced by many different factors, such as the risk in a country, the risk of a financial institution targeted, etc., etc. So it is not a very straightforward formula. But of course, we aim at rolling this out in the best way possible to achieve the highest leverage possible.
Thank you. Would you? Yes, please.
If I may compliment just briefly. Yes, the 44 billion was based on the EU financing. And the 88 would have been if the member states came in with an equal amount. So far that has not happened, but I think that we certainly have the option to do that also in the future, which goes to your second question. We are now going through as I mentioned, negotiations, and the financial institutions, FMO came in first, but the financial institutions are presenting, and we are very much preferring the negotiations on those programs that have a pipeline of projects ready, that have the relationships in the countries of operation, etc. So because there is some that are still going to take some time to mature, there are others that are ready to be lined up. We are very much talking about leveraging the private sector. I mean, that's where the leverage numbers come in, right? A big portion of that. So we are now back to 44 because the hope that the member states would match it, they were not as generous as the initial hopes as the initial hopes were, but we believe that going from the 1.5 billion that we have allocated to 44 is actually going to be quite good.
Thank you very much. Any further questions?
I would like to add something,
yeah.
Hannah. I would like, nevertheless, thank the member states, because without their full support, the operational board and strategic board, we would not have been able to, first of all, endorse all those PIPs and start preparing the guarantee agreements. On the 28th of June, we have another meeting of operational board, where I said before we will present 10 new guarantee agreements and 2 technical assistance agreements. Again, I will be honest with you, we had a plan to conclude everything hopefully before summer, but we realized that negotiations can be quite tough. There are always 2 sides. We need to negotiate. We need to negotiate on the pricing of the guarantee. Guarantee does not come for free. We need to take into account all the provisions of EFSD regulations, including the reporting, audit, and other monitoring issues, that we can be sure that our assistance will really come to those that need it the most. And also there are some, let's say, horizontal issues from the NCJ to ELM that you may, ALM, sorry, yes, I'm very bad in acronyms and very tired. But
Anti-money laundering and non-cooperative jurisdiction.
Voila, thank you, Katerina. She explained very well. So we have these horizontal issues to settle as well, and we hope that with our international financial institution partners, we will be able to settle all those very soon and hopefully sign during the summer or early September all those agreements as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Marietta. Is there another question from somebody amongst the audience? We've got to wrap up. I think we've got about 2 minutes left, so if there's no more hands jumping up, then I would like to thank you very much for coming. I've seen many things being registered today, and also thank you for our esteemed panel members and presenters for their presence in, as I said, a milestone in the external investment plan. Thank you very much.